I don't like to talk negatively about movies because a lot of people put a lot of effort into making a piece of entertainment for you and I to enjoy. Filmmaking isn't easy, but I can't hold back with this movie. Hi, I'm the Artie Dance from Asian Film Fans, and I'm going to tell you why you should avoid the Chinese film The Attorney. As much as it looks like a film from Hong Kong, this isn't from Hong Kong, so keep that in mind. A young man is accused of murdering the daughter of a rich mainland Chinese businessman in a warehouse studio in Hong Kong. While all evidence points to him, he professes his innocence. His grandmother, knowing her grandson is a screw-up but not a murderer, enlists the service of a barrister she has previously used, and alongside a younger colleague, they begin to get to the bottom of the murder case. They uncover that the landlord of the warehouse studio is the dead woman's ex-lover, who is also a candidate in the local election, and his father is an influential Hong Kong businessman who has dealings with the dead woman's father. Hearing the story synopsis, it's pretty obvious where this movie's heading. Now it might seem like a spoiler, but the issue is that the movie telegraphs the ending almost at the start of the movie, immediately taking away any sense of suspense. This movie is an egregious example of mainland Chinese filmmakers taking advantage of the reputation of the Hong Kong crime drama genre, but completely screwing it up to ensure the film complies with mainland regulations. Instead of getting a movie full of twists and turns that builds up the story in a suspenseful way and slowly introduces both important characters and red herrings, the movie lays all the cards on the table and then goes into painstaking detail about how each character is involved to ensure even the most inattentive viewer can understand. That's not what a good courtroom drama thriller should do. It should demand your attention, and if the movie's good enough, it'll get it. The first third of the movie moves at an incredible breakneck pace. The editing is ridiculously fast, to the point where the audience has no time to digest what they've seen, or in my case, read the subtitles, before the next scene whips into view to either continue or introduce a new story arc. Part of the problem with this movie is that it has 5 screenwriters. Clearly the original screenwriter, and then 4 more who went around rewriting scenes to comply with the China Film Administration. An example happens early on, when a scene transition is interrupted with a voiceover. But who is this voiceover, and why are they telling us things that we should be seeing instead? Where were these scenes he's narrating? This is the point of the film where you start to pick up the smell of interference. Next is the rather sporadic emotions of the characters. The young man accused of murder has one of the worst fake cries you'll ever see. Alex Fong's character, the main barrister, goes from confident to cocky, while Carlos Chan's character has one of the worst tantrums during a scene you've ever seen captured on film. Completely out of place and very cringeworthy. This is not director Wong Kwok-Fai's first movie, but considering the performance he's gotten out of some excellent Hong Kong actors, it very much feels like it. Speaking of the cast, these aren't small, no-name actors. There are some recognisable talent here, including the aforementioned Alex Fong from the Overheard series, Carlos Chan, who recently cameoed in Raging Fire, alongside the stunning Gianna Ho, who is just wasted in this film as the barrister's assistant who gets KO'd halfway through the movie, never to be heard from again. Patrick Tam, also from Raging Fire, stars as the prosecutor, while Justin Chung actually does a decent job as the movie villain, and a handful of other recognisable Hong Kong veterans fill in the rest of the cast list. But make no mistake, this is not a Hong Kong film. This is a Chinese film. And that sets in when it comes to the actual crime and case being investigated. Clues are discovered without explanation, and then written off as being fabricated. Characters change allegiances during scene transitions, while the court scenes play out more like a farce, something you'd see in mainland China rather than a legitimate search for justice. Speaking of the court scenes, part of the fun of movies like this is to see the prosecutor and the defense attorney battling it out against each other, trying to outwit each other with evidence and lines of questioning to witnesses. But that all becomes unraveled when it's determined early on that Alex Fong's character doesn't lose cases, that a vital piece of evidence is withheld and introduced at the last minute, and questioning of witnesses is left incomplete, to the point where even I was yelling at my screen the questions the lawyers should have been asking. And then there's the clearly biased judge who had no intention of running a fair trial. And then, to top it all off, we get the usual Chinese ending, where the mysterious narrator makes yet another appearance to rattle off all the punishments dished out to every character, including the attorneys. What a farce, and what a joke. This movie pisses over the legacy of Hong Kong crime drama cinema. It makes a mockery of a territory that once enjoyed a particular level of freedom and now enjoys none. It paints a picture of fair elections and journalists who are not afraid to publish the truth as something that still exists in Hong Kong today. But more importantly, this movie insults the audience at every turn. From being boring to being incoherent, illogical, and a general waste of everyone's time. This movie must be avoided at all costs. If you have any love of Hong Kong cinema and hate what the mainland Chinese government has done to us, then never watch this sad, sorry excuse of a film. But if you have seen this, what did you think? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please press the like button and consider subscribing for future Asian movie reviews.